Hi! Okay, so Lauren Morales here for Project 8. Woohoo! Okay, so question number 1 is... Sorry, let me just scroll down. Okay. The Matez stole the entire temporarily available exhibition surface from the website hell.com and republished it on o1.org. What do you think they were saying about copyright and ownership as it relates to art and internet by action? I feel like Franco Matez think that as long as something exists, it shouldn't be limited to something. I mean, going back to what I felt the definition of art is that art is accumulation of our life and our experiences. So I think art isn't something that should be bottled up. I mean, some people take their art to be very personal, so if they want to hide that, that's their thing. But I think even Franco don't see it that way. I think they think as long as it exists, as long as it's there, and as long as you express yourself, it needs to be out there. So, yeah. Okay, so next question. Question 2. What's the difference between hacktivism and even Franco Matez's bestofhell.com? Okay, so I had to do a little research on this. Okay, so hacktivism has been traditionally used as making a political statement through hacking and the use of computers, while the bestofhell.com, there was a quote that I found that said that it was that the act of copying and the act of modifying it, such as the bestofhell.com, was... Here, I'll just read the quote. The beholder becomes the artist becomes the beholder, a powerless witness of what happens to their work. And so while hacktivism tries to destroy it, and, well, not destroy it, but like make changes and make it for the better, the bestofhell.com was to pretty much just duplicate it and make it art for everyone. Because I'm pretty sure they define art in a different sense than I do. But so it was just, they didn't want to destroy it, they didn't want to change it, they just wanted to reproduce it and give it a new life. Okay, so 3, which is about Nike Ground. Okay, so the question, because I'm kind of reworded right now. Okay, so my thoughts on even Franco's erection of the Nike swoosh in Vienna, I thought it was kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I don't think businesses can buy cities, excuse me. I don't think it was very believable in a sense. I mean, I don't know, cities can't be bought. I mean, they can be funded in a sense, but they can't be bought. So I didn't really take much away from that exhibit. I just found it interesting in terms of how the icon was. It wasn't really offensive to me. It was just like how iconic the Nike symbol was, and that everyone could recognize that as American-owned business. And then they attributed the stereotypical American behaviors, which is the crazy Texan that wants to take over everything. And I talked to a couple foreign people that have that same stereotype, which is funny. So, yeah, so that was Nike Ground for me. It didn't really shock me. It didn't really, like, inspire me. It was just kind of there and interesting. Sorry, that's not a very exciting answer, but... Okay, so Second Life is like a portrait because it reflects the identity, and identity, as we discussed in class, is kind of shaky because, like, okay, for the whole thing with I'll use the gender example. Like, gender is what someone identifies themselves up here, so, like, you could be, have the sex of a female but have the gender of a male kind of thing. So it's that kind of identity of who you see you are despite who you are in the virtual world. That's also how it's different than portraits, because portraits are traditionally thought of as being a physical representation of yourself. I mean, in the 1800s, that was really, really popular. And I remember there's this one piece where it's just this like really serious man, and he's ice skating of all things, and that had never been seen before because there was always like the rich got themselves painted, so there always wanted these like elegant backgrounds and things. So I don't know. So like this would be a portrait. This is all me. These are all my books, all my post-it notes. So this would be my portrait. So it's really just like how someone interprets themselves. And yeah, so that's how Second Life is like a portrait. Okay, so, the concerns raised by the synthetic performances. Now this one I had to think about, because that wasn't something that I took notes on. Actually, 4 post-it notes in here. Okay, so what I came to conclusion on was that it defines what's real. Like, there was a quote in there that said, do you have to be there in the flesh to experience it? And that was interesting, because I don't know, you can be in the virtual world and experience something. I mean, I remember as a kid, sorry, someone just messaged me. Okay, so then, sorry about that, I'm a little distracted. Okay, so, synthetic performance, what's real? Okay, yeah, okay, so, in like 7th grade for me, I used to talk with my friends all the time on instant message, and it's kind of funny because I remember those conversations really clearly because I'm a visual person, so seeing something kind of brings it to life for me, and I'm also a kinetic person. So the act of typing and then the act of seeing the conversation is kind of a vivid memory for me. So yeah, but I mean, I wasn't actually there with my friends talking to them. I mean, I was just on my computer while they're in their house and they're on their computer. So I don't know, it's just kind of what you experience mentally and emotionally and how much you invest in it. Oh, that's what I wrote. I love when I follow my notes. Okay, so question number 6. Okay. So, how the performances function differently if you were aware of its history or not. Okay, so, sorry, my notebook's just sliding all over the place right now. Okay, so without having known it before, it becomes this fresh, unpredictable thing. And there was a quote in here that said that it's really unpredictable in the virtual world because because there's audience interaction, whereas in real life there typically isn't. So it's interesting about that. And yeah, so for them it's that new experience of living through that. And then with that experience already and already knowing about it, it becomes, you become more invested in it, I want to say. Because, a study of memory says that you remember things better if you have an emotional connection with them. I mean, you're going to remember the first time you were asked out by someone over eating a bowl of cereal. Because eating a bowl of cereal is mundane, but if you remember that, then I guess it's not that mundane. But yeah, so it's about what you put in it. So if you remember that, then you already have something invested in it, and that's kind of bringing it up again and being like, oh, this is it. I mean, that's why some people just like watch like Hamlet over and over, because there's something new to it. Yeah, there's something new in it, and the experience varies a bit, but it's still that core feeling and thought, which is why people like to go back to it. But yeah, your experience varies based on whether you've seen it before or not. Okay, so the Matez art is about, I still stand by that it's about experience, because that's what art is for me. It's just kind of being there and doing it. Like, I think there's one quote in there that's like, they're skilled in the art of copying or something like that. And they never seem to outright say, oh, this is a clearly a political statement against Americans and big corporations. It just, the art speaks for itself, and they just do it. They just go for it. So I think it's just expressing and experiencing life through the medium that you choose. And art's part of our culture and society, as seen with a lot of their works, such as the newspaper ones, where it was just like people going around handing out fake newspapers saying the war was over, which is something. Yeah, so it's just part of our society, and the same with the Nike swoosh. Okay, Walking the Dead Horse. Okay, so I was a little unclear on this one. I don't know if I'm supposed to be talking about the chapter or the song. So I'm just going to talk about the song, because I know the song, because Sex Pistols are awesome. And then I'm going to connect it to the book and that text and whatnot. Okay, so Walking the Dead Horse is by the Sex Pistols. And there's a line there that says that they want to be part of the anarchy, but they don't know what they want. And I think that pretty much embodies the even Franco Matez spirit, as I said before, because that's what they are. They kind of create these things that don't seem to make sense at first. You're like, why are they making this fake site for the Catholics? Or the Vatican, sorry. And then, why are they tearing apart Winnie the Pooh? So, but after a decent look at it and really studying yourself, you learn about it and you understand it. So, I think, sorry, I just went on a tangent. Okay, so, going back to Walking the Dead Horse, and that's where you kind of get involved in the anarchy, and just like, you just do it, and it kind of starts rolling the ball, and it goes off on its own and becomes its own thing that people take as their own. That's what I interpret it as. And yeah, that's everything. So, thank you. I hope you have a good night. I'm going to have some hot cocoa now. Alright, bye.